Curing the 3 major fishing ailments. The float moves but there's no fish, the float moves but you can't catch anything, there are fish bubbles near the float but the float doesn't move. In fishing, the most annoying thing is not the absence of fish, but that there are fish in the nest, yet you just can't catch them. Or the float is twitching like crazy, moving non-stop, but every time you lift the rod, it's empty. At this point, most people start fussing with the bait, switching it over and over, and end up confusing themselves. Let me tell you, don't keep obsessing over that little bit of bait. Sometimes, the problem isn't with the bait at all, but that your fishing method doesn't match the state of the fish. At this time, all you need to do is pull the float up a bit, or down a bit, make a slight adjustment, and the whole situation might come alive. Here are 3 of the most common deadlock situations, and I'll tell you how to break them. First situation, the float moves, but you just can't hook a fish every time you lift the rod, it's empty. Do you often encounter this? Especially when it's cold or the weather is stuffy, the float clearly dips down a little, or rises up a bit. The movement is very light, but you see it clearly. But when you lift the rod, it's empty. Once, twice, every single time it's enough to drive people crazy. At this point, many people's first reaction is, the fish are biting lightly, I need to make it more sensitive. Then they start pulling the float down, wanting to make the signals more exaggerated. Let me tell you, doing this is wrong, and seriously wrong. Think about it, why are the fish biting lightly? Because they have no strength, or no appetite, and their sucking movement is light and slow. If your float is adjusted too sensitively, for example, adjusted to a high number of meshes, the hook and line are stretched tight in the water, and the float is straining with a lot of force to rise upwards. The fish opens its mouth, just sucks the baited hook in a little, and before it even closes its mouth, it's pushed out by the upward pulling force of your float. So, what you see is a signal, in fact, the hook hasn't even entered its mouth at all. What to do? Do the opposite. You need to make it comfortable for them to eat, don't make it difficult for them. Readjust the float, set it to a low mesh, and fish at a low mesh. For example, you can set it to 2 or 3 meshes, then fish at 1.5 or 2 meshes. At this time, your entire fishing tackle is relaxed underwater, with not much force pulling upwards. As long as the fish sucks gently, it can easily swallow the hook and bait into its mouth. The bite signals at this time may not look that exaggerated, but as long as there's movement, lifting the rod will definitely hook the fish. Second situation, the float is going crazy, with all kinds of signals, but no proper bites. This situation is most common in summer. Your float is on the water's surface, like dancing, tapping once, shaking once, then running sideways. It makes you dazzled, not knowing whether to lift the rod or not. Every time you lift, it's an empty rod, or you hook a small minnow like a whitebait or a top-mouth gudgeon, as small as your little finger. No need to ask, it's definitely small fish disturbing the nest. If you still want to fish with a sensitive setup at this time, you're just asking for trouble. As soon as a small fish touches the line, your float will jump 3 times. What to do? Take drastic measures, let it lie flat, out of sight, out of mind. Change to a larger float with more lead weight, and also increase the weight of the lead sinker. Then, push your float up hard by a large section. It can be 30 or 40 centimeters higher than your normal fishing position. With this, your lead sinker, subline, and hook will all lie comfortably on the bottom of the water. The fishing tackle becomes very insensitive. Those small fish, no matter how much they nibble or pull at your bait lying in the mud, it will be difficult for them to transmit the signal to the float. Your float will immediately calm down. At this time, you can ignore those slight shakes and just wait for one signal, a crisp, forceful, firm bite that pulls the float down a large section. Only larger fish have the strength to move this lying flat fishing tackle. This way, you can filter out 90% of false signals. Third, and the most annoying one, there are gurgling bubbles in the nest, but the float just doesn't move. This is the most frustrating. You watch the fish bubbles rolling in the nest, which means there must be fish, and quite a few, but your float is as still as if fixed, not moving at all. You've tried 800 kinds of bait, but they just ignore you. What's the matter here? There are usually two possibilities. The fish are not at the bottom, but hovering halfway. Maybe because the weather is stuffy, or there's a lack of oxygen at the bottom, the fish are lured by the smell of your bait, but they dare not go to the bottom, just hovering above the nest. Your bait is at the bottom, and they are in midair, even a god can't catch them. There may be a thick layer of rotten grass or silt at the bottom of your fishing spot. When your hook and bait go down, they sink right in, and the fish can't see them at all. What to do? Don't just wait passively at this time, you have to take the initiative to find the fish. Pull your float down bit by bit. Yes, you heard it right, pull it down. Pull it 10 centimeters at a time, then cast the rod and wait for 2 minutes. No bite? Pull it down another 10 centimeters, and wait again. This process is called layer searching. When you pull the float down, your hook and bait leave the bottom. From fishing the bottom, it becomes fishing 10 centimeters, 20 centimeters, 30 centimeters off the bottom. There will always be a depth where you just happen to deliver the bait to the mouths of those hovering fish. As long as there's a bite, you immediately remember this depth, don't move it again, and you're sure to catch several in a row. You see, fishing is just like this. When you encounter problems, don't rush to blame this or that. First, think about whether you should push the float up or pull it down. Sometimes, such a simple adjustment might just turn things around. Author profile: I am a wee media blogger who loves fishing and is good at sharing. Follow me, and we can exchange fishing skills and discuss every bit of wild fishing for anglers. Give a like, collect, and follow to avoid getting lost in the next update.